Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is Dctree-Nation, the channel on YouTube that covers hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. We're talking about San Antonio Spurs, y'all. And I gotta tell you, man, rumors are swirling around this team about possible trades and possible free agents. And the name CJ McCollum came up. And I think he's a solid player, and I like his game. But I gotta tell you, man, I don't think he is exactly what we need. We need him plus some, if you ask me, man. When I heard this rumor, I wasn't impressed. I was less impressed than Russell Westbrook is with reporters.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I was less impressed than females were about Peter Parker's dancing. Listen, I was less impressed than Superman was with Steppenwolf.
Not impressed.
Man, y'all get what I'm trying to say. I'm basically saying I'm not really impressed with this whole scenario of getting CJ McCollum. But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. Okay, first off, I want to say is that I totally understand that this whole scenario is pure speculation and it may not have any truth to it, but hell, we are in that part of the season, ladies and gentlemen, where there's nothing but speculation for this team because we're not in the playoffs. The off season is on the way. It's not quite here yet, so we don't have any concrete information. So I'm going to have a lot of these videos, just kind of playing with these ideas and these trade scenarios. Okay, so I understand that you don't have to remind me in the comments. But the reason why the CJ thing does not make sense, in my opinion, for the Spurs is that, first off, the Spurs don't have anything to offer compared to other teams. We know that Damian Lillard, he's hinting that he's going to ask for a trade. He's hinting that he wants to get out of Portland. They're going to be looking for a clear-cut, bona fide deal to make him stay. So the Spurs don't have anything to give them that helps them next year automatically. And the only person they do have is perhaps a sign and trade with DeMar DeRozan. But you can make the argument that CJ is better than DeMar DeRozan, or they're the same exact player. You get what I'm saying? Offensive minded, subpar defensively, and has, a tendency to, duck out when the playoffs come around. You get what I'm saying? So you're not really having anything to offer the Portland Trail Blazers. So that's the number one reason why I'm thinking this is just a rumor and this doesn't make sense. Okay. And let's just say, for kicks and giggles, that the Trailblazers, they go for the sign and trade, and we trade DeRozan to the Portland Trailblazers for CJ McCollum. That doesn't put the Spurs over the top. You can make the argument it doesn't move the Spurs forward at all. You get what I'm saying? Now, maybe the Spurs have a trick up their sleeve when it comes to the draft. Maybe they have, a free agent in the works they can match with CJ. But I don't see much difference between DeRozan and CJ when it comes to their games and what they bring to the table. Sure, CJ is better from three. He averaged about 3 more points per game than DeRozan did last season, but then DeRozan averaged more assists. You get what I'm saying? DeRozan's been in the system for a few years. There's no learning curve for DeRozan if we resign him. And just getting CJ in return, it doesn't really make sense, especially when you think about that I think he's just starting an extension that pays him $100 million over the next 3 years. So he is not a cheap player, and he's not necessarily on his own going to really make this team better, in my opinion. Now, things can happen, DeJounte could improve, Keldon could improve. That's if they're not included in the trade in the first place, and the Spurs can probably make a playoff push. But to me, going for CJ does not make sense unless you have both of them, DeRozan and CJ. Now, I don't know how they could make that happen. Obviously, other teams will have to be involved. You get what I'm saying? Probably a lot of young assets, some draft picks have to be involved. If you put those two brothers together, then you might have something. depending on how much of their youth they lose. You can't lose Lonnie and DeJounte and White and expect this move to make sense. You got to somehow keep your young core intact and get both these guys on the team at the same time. And see, another thing too, and I have the tendency of doing this, but Spurs Nation, we do this a lot. We expect teams to be blind to our assets. You get what I'm saying? They know that we're vulnerable. They know that we need a star. They are not going to play ball with us without us giving up something of value. You get what I'm saying? And our valuable assets like Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, and picks, they're going to go straight for those. You get what I'm saying? I've seen Derek White in a lot of the trade scenarios made by fans. And to be honest with you, and I know people think I hate Derek White, but I'm going to be honest with you now. Derek White is older. You know, he's in his late 20s, and he has been injured a couple seasons in a row when it counted. You get what I'm saying? And they're all lower extremity injuries. You get what I'm saying? Which are devastating for a basketball player. Knick-knack injuries. Teams are going to avoid him for younger players. You get what I'm saying? Now, we may get lucky and they may need a veteran or whatnot, but there's a lot of question marks around Derek White. So we don't know if that's even a viable trade asset. And then most of the fandom doesn't even want to trade Derek White to begin with. You get what I'm saying? So does the Spurs organization mirror that? Because, I mean, they did just give him that big contract last summer. He didn't live up to it this year, but it wasn't necessarily his fault with the COVID and all that stuff like that. It just threw off his whole rhythm. He had some knick-knack injuries. The last ankle injury I felt like was more precautionary. Goodness gracious, can't talk. Was more of a precaution for the Spurs anyway. So it's just a lot of questions when it comes to that. And I don't think you break up this team, which has underachieved. I will say it underachieved. I don't think you break it up for CJ McCollum. I just don't think he gives us the punch or gives us the edge that we need to really make the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? Like, he may be more effective, a little bit more talented, but CJ McCollum alone is not enough. He is not enough. Now, before I get out of here, man, I do understand the perspective that, hey, the Spurs need to do something. You know, what we're currently doing is not working. So maybe just shipping DeRozan out of town, getting CJ to hopefully match him up with two other free agents, and then maybe do well in the draft. Couple that with possibly, you know, a couple of our young guys taking another leap. DeJounte taking the leap. Keldon taking the leap. Lonnie taking the leap. If we can keep those guys in a potential trade with Portland, by the way, then I understand that. Because, I mean, you know, to do everything the same over and over again is the definition of insanity, you know, when you expect different results. So I understand that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not completely bashing this move. If the Spurs know what they're doing, I just hope they know and the fandom knows, hey, you can't just have an offseason with CJ McCollum and think things are going to change. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you for kicking it with me. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. Don't forget about that superhero playlist if you're into that type of thing. And thanks for kicking it with your boy. Catch you in the next one. Peace.